So with the release of Disgaea 1 Complete and Disgaea 5 for PC, there are probably a lot of new players that have come to the series. So with that in mind, I thought I'd do a beginner's guide to Disgaea. I'll be doing it in Disgaea 1 Complete since that's the simplest and easiest to understand, but most of the things I mention will be the same for the other games or just tweaked slightly. Keep in mind that this is basic stuff, but stick around because there are a lot of things that these games don't tell you, and you might just learn something useful. So Disgaea is a turn-based strategy game, but turns aren't determined per character. The turn order of Disgaea is very simple. The player does as many actions as they are able to and want to do, and then the enemy does the same. This is useful because you can plan out a full strategy and then execute it. You're also incentivized to do this, since having multiple characters attack the same enemy in a row will build up your combo, which increases your bonus gauge and in some games increases the damage you deal too. All characters get one move and one action per turn. You can take any of these moves and actions in any order with any character, so Disgaea has a very free-form system. Not only that, but you can cancel your move at any time unless you've used up your move and action already. You can also cancel any setup for a move until you execute that move. This gives you plenty of freedom to figure out what you want to do before you execute your plan. One strategy I like to use is move a character next to your healer, heal them, and then cancel their move. The healing will have still happened, but you get to move your character again. Movement is determined by each character's move stat. This can be increased in various ways, but it's basically how many tiles a character can travel per turn. They also have a jump stat which determines what the maximum difference in height the tile next to them can be before they can't move on to it. There are also some units that count as flying units. These can walk through enemy units, while normal units cannot. The first action you can do is a simple attack with your equipped weapon. If you aren't holding a weapon, your character will do a weak fist attack instead, but we'll cover weapons soon. This is usually only used if you don't want to use up SP or if you want to initiate a team attack. Be aware that attacking from the correct angle will increase the damage and accuracy. Attacking from behind is best, and the sides are second best. This is true for your enemies too, so remember to change the facing direction of your units before ending your turn. Rotating your units is a free action, so it won't take up your move or your attack. Team attacks are activated when allies stand next to each other during a normal attack. You can see a percentage chance of initiating a team attack with each unit stood next to the attacker before you confirm. Team attacks do a little more damage than regular ones generally, but they are based on the stats of all the members of the attack. The main advantage of team attacks are that they will spread the experience points gained to all participants. When an enemy is killed by a team attack, the main attacker will gain 100% of the experience points, as if they had killed them on their own. However, the other members of the team attack will also gain a smaller share of bonus experience, based on how much the attacker got. This allows you to easily power level weaker units by having them work with stronger ones. You can both lift and throw as one action in one turn, and every unit has their own maximum throw range. The uses of lifting and throwing are vast, but I'll go over a few here. You can lift and throw your allies to reach further away than you normally could in one turn. You can lift an ally who is already lifting an ally to build a tower of units, who can then throw themselves all the way across the map. You can lift an enemy and hold them there to deny them their turn. However, this will damage the lifter based on how strong the enemy is. You can throw geo symbols onto other geo panels to solve geo puzzles. You can throw enemies onto each other to combine them. This will add their levels together, creating a stronger enemy. This can be useful for a lot of game-breaking tricks. You can also throw your enemies onto your base panel to attempt to capture them. It's risky though, since if you aren't strong enough, the allies in your base will all get killed. Defend increases the defense of your character until the next turn. But not only that, it also lowers your counter value, so it's less likely you'll counter enemy attacks. This is useful because sometimes you don't want to trigger a counter in case the enemy counter-counters you and kills you. Counterattacks have a chance to trigger when you get attacked by an enemy. In Disgaea 1 this is only normal attacks, but they are also triggered by specials in later games. This is useful for getting instant revenge on enemies, and some classes are built around having a high counter value so they can dish out a lot of punishment. Special attacks usually cost SP to use, and they're split into three main categories in the first few games: Unique, Weapon, and Magic. Unique attacks are only usable by one particular character or class. They tend to be either very powerful or very useful. These specials cannot be carried over to a new class when transmigrating or reincarnating. Next we have weapon skills. These are earned by reaching a certain level of weapon mastery. There are a different set of skills for each weapon type. The monster weapons and staffs don't have any weapon skills however, as they benefit unique specials and magic respectively instead. Finally we have magic. Magic is learned by a variety of means, but usually certain classes will learn them at a certain level. Magic can be carried over when transmigrating however. Magic has many different effects, from pure damage to debuffs on your enemies. The range and power of magic attacks is increased by staff mastery, although anyone can use them even without staff. All special moves level up as you use them, becoming stronger. They also become more expensive in SP as they level up in the first Disgaea game, but this is reversed in some of the later games. Attack is the stat that determines the physical damage you deal with most weapons and skills. Defense is how much you can reduce damage dealt by attacks from the attack stat. Hit is your accuracy. If you have too low of a hit stat, then you will miss your opponent when attacking, or do reduced damage. Hit also increases damage when using bows or guns. Speed increases your chance to dodge and increases damage with fists and guns. Intelligence increases damage with magic-based attacks. And resistance is like defense, but for magic damage. Please note that in the first Disgaea, speed doesn't increase fist and gun damage, it's only from Disgaea 2 onwards. All humanoid classes can use weapons. Monster type characters can only equip monster weapons however. Swords are great, straightforward, easy to use and versatile weapons. Their special skills have a variety of attack patterns for all occasions. Swords use the attack stat to do damage. Fist weapons have skills that can move the enemy around, throwing them or pushing them onto different spaces, making them a technical but useful weapon. Fists use the attack stat to do damage in Disgaea 1, and the attack and speed stats in the other games. Spears all have the ability to attack from an extra space away compared to swords and axes, which can keep you out of range of a counter. Their skills tend to focus on moving the user around to a new position, making them great for hit and run tactics. Spears use the attack stat to do damage. Axes deal a ton of damage and most of their special skills focus on one target or only a few targets. Despite their massive damage output, they do also lower the user's accuracy, their hit stat, slightly. Axes use the attack stat to do damage. Bows are range weapons that are more about spreading ailments and causing area of effect damage rather than being a conventional damage dealer. They're used to sow some chaos on the battlefield. They use the attack and the hit stat to deal damage. Guns are the other range weapon. In later games they have a larger range than bows, but can only attack in straight lines. However, their range functions the same as bows in the first game. Their skills are used to do large amounts of damage on a single target from far away. Guns use the hit stat in Disgaea 1, and the hit and speed stats in later games. Unlike other weapons, staffs are terrible for attacks and learn no skills of their own. However, their mastery can be increased by using magic, and the higher mastery, the better your magic is in both damage and range. Spells tend to use the intelligence stat, but a normal attack will still use the attack stat until later games. Please note that healers gain experience points for healing their allies in the later Disgaea games, but not in Disgaea 1. So you might want to teach your healer an offensive spell or teach a healing spell to a non-healer. These percentages are how much of the stats you get from your equipment. So if you have a 50% attack aptitude, then you're only getting half of the attack power a sword would normally give. However, if you have 150% aptitude, you're getting a bonus 50% attack that other units wouldn't normally get. These are extra defenses and weaknesses that each character has to different elemental magic. For example, a 50% fire resistance means you're taking half damage from fire spells, but a minus 50% fire resistance means you're taking an extra 50%. Check your enemy's resistances before choosing what spell to use. You might also want to check their resistance and defense stats, depending on what skill you're using. This is a special gauge that fills up while on each stage. You can increase it by attacking enemies and causing geo effects. The best way to fill it up quickly is by getting high counter attack strings, high combos, and solving geo puzzles by completely nulling all geo panels on a stage. Every time the gauge fills, you will unlock a new reward to gain at the end of the stage. This can be bonus money, bonus experience, and new items. You also gain money depending on how much you have filled up this gauge. So that's it for some of the basics. There are a lot more basics to cover, as well as some intermediate things to look out for, so let me know if you want more of this kind of guide. There are more guides to come, but why don't you head over to twitch.tv/voxelstar and watch me play through Disgaea 1 complete. And if you guys enjoyed these guides or any of my other videos, please consider supporting me on Patreon and join the lovely people you see on screen now. I also have a Discord server that you can come and chat about games and other geeky things on. Links to that are in the description. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you all next time.